Oh, just waiting on some people to come in. Haven't seen anybody yet. I'm over here talking to myself, but it is kind of a surprise live. So uh, that's why I'm here. I just kind of want to talk to people about the things that we've been hearing lately. Anybody got anything new to add? I'm excited. Uh, I've been tying a few things together. Hey, how are you? Welcome in. First person in. You get to be the top fan. How about that? Oh, who's here? Oh, we got four in here now. Yeah, I was doing this live. It's kind of a surprise live. And it's basically to talk about the things that's been going on lately between the skies and everything and the things that I've listened to said. Because I mentioned earlier that I remember, I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly or not, but it was Sister Luingwi, the one that came on the Scent Twins right after Joshua. And one of the things that I remember her saying is that the we were going to see colors in the sky all over right before these 3 days of darkness or whatever. I don't know much about the 3 days of darkness. I'll be honest with you, but I believe it has validity because of just the fact that a lot of people have said it. Hey, Sunshine from Ireland. All right, that's exciting. I'm glad. Hey, right now I've got three people in here. One person came in and dropped out. But what I was just trying to want to go over some of the things that we've heard here lately. I don't know if you remember here about 2 weeks. It was about a week and a half ago or so, maybe 2 weeks. Uh, Joseph Allen came on. I was actually talked to about some dead rising through Elijah and told some things, yeah, about the dead rising, but it was actually Elijah himself who would call a lot call a lot from the dead, is what he had said, and he talked about those days. But is that what you want to hear about? Is Elijah? Is that what you guys? Because I'll be glad to talk about it. I have no problem with that. I usually lose viewers talking about it, and I wanted to kind of talk about some of the rapture things that we've been hearing lately. See if we can tie any of this together. What do you guys think? You guys think it's a good idea? I mean, I've heard different things, but what I was saying is I remember Joseph Allen waking up about a week and a half ago. He was all distraught. I mean, almost crying, and said something about us getting a big solar flare, which would knock out power grids. But he had just woke up from it. So he was pretty presumptuous in saying that maybe it could happen in the next few minutes or, within hours. I mean, that's how it felt. That's how it feels when you come out of these dreams and visions, is you feel like you were just there. So being a part of it, when you come out of it immediately, it's it's dire. It feels like, but you might be explaining something of the near future or small distant future. You're going to see your husband here soon. Because first the dead will rise. You got to understand, we don't rise first. The dead rise first, then the living. So you'll be with your husband soon. You don't even have to worry about that. That's imminent. That's as close as it can be. I know you're right at the door. But seeing Jesus is the biggest part of it. And the thing is you don't realize how much we love everybody till we get there. You're gonna love everybody so much, even in the last few that come in right as the door closes. You're gonna realize how much family you really are. You'll know what a real family's like. Not all our messed up families, right? Anybody agree? You know, Uh, and especially when you get any kind of spiritual and you start trying to express it with your family, they're the least to listen to you. Anybody else want to agree to that? Usually they're the least to listen to you. Oh, the dead can rise. The dead aren't dust. The dead, in fact, death is an illusion once you become a part of Jesus Christ, and you must know that. Death is an illusion. Death was awarded for man without Jesus Christ. Now, what you see here, a carcass left, that's for people here, man, to experience that. You'll never taste death, you know? And what's cool is you've overcome the second death already by having Jesus Christ. So just know that some will die and then have a second death, and that's the spiritual death. Who is this saying I'm telling lies? Because if you're just in here to troll, you can be gone faster than you just came in here. So do it one more time. One more time. What am I lying about? I haven't said anything in here that's lies. So unless you're talking to somebody else in here, one more time, God, you're gone. In fact, we'll just go ahead and just fix that real quick. Salty fish. Who are you? Who is this? What are you talking about? All right, so now we get rid of the troublemakers. I had to learn how to do that. It's a real good button. Well, what's wrong? Why are you guys arguing? It's okay. Look, are we excited about the rapture? Is anybody excited about what's soon about to happen? Jesus gathering us to Him, because that's what this, my whole, and having plenty of oil for this. I hope you've not let any of the dates bother you, and that you have plenty of oil to get through it. Because didn't your master tell you to have plenty of oil? That was for a reason. Okay. It wasn't so that you give up. It wasn't so that you hear these things and give up. Exactly. And look, the Lord Jesus is the only way. The only way to make it to heaven is through Christ. He is the door. Any man who tries to get through, there'll be people who get through. It says in the wedding banquet, he walks up, friend, why are you not wearing the right clothes? Huh? How did you get in here? And then they're thrown out. So it does say people get in different ways, but they'll be thrown out if you don't come through. Jesus Christ is the only way. He is the door. Everybody agree? So anybody in here who needs Jesus Christ, and hasn't accepted Him as your Lord and Savior, here's your chance. All you do is accept Him with your heart and express it with your mouth, and that you'll have Him in your heart, and He's the one that weighs hearts. So uh, there you go. I was like I say, anybody want to talk about what's been going on? Like, so Sister Louie said this about the lights, and then I'm seeing lights in the sky, and we're watching for it tonight. Last night it was really good. I don't know if you had a chance to look at my post pictures. It does me too, and it's exciting. But sometimes I get out thinking, is everybody else just as excited and still holding on like I am? And it seems to be that the group is growing. It's getting more exciting because Before it wasn't even talked about. Maybe once in a while somebody would say they thought I didn't pay no attention to it for the last 10 years. Actually, hey Holly. Oh, I thought Holly was in here. But guys, yeah. So I was thinking, for the last 10 years I hadn't paid attention to anything of anybody saying the Lord was coming because I was told 10 years ago now. So when I started paying attention, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like in July, all these people, it started with Joshua and the other three, and then the next thing you know, Joseph Allen's dreaming, and Holly Two Moons, Bro Scott, and all these ones coming, and they're all feeding off of each other, making this big picture. What do you think about that, guys? You think that it's all coming together? Do you think that November is the true September? I've been hearing that. I'm wondering what you guys feel about it. I don't know if you give me hearts, if you're understanding, and I'm trying to put all this together myself. What does it mean? I know Joseph Allen woke up talking about this a mass ejection that possibly we just got, and it hasn't all gotten here yet because it could knock out grids. You know that, right? It still could knock out. These are beautiful lights we're seeing in the night, but it could knock out power grids. Right, exactly. Exactly. You have to have the right garments on. Jesus is your garment. Christ is your garment. And if you don't have that garment on when you get there, you're going to be asked about it for sure. You know. And if you don't have you got to have a personal relationship with Jesus. Have you had your experience with him? Do you spend time with him? Do you talk to him? I can tell you how to do this indefinitely. Look, has anybody ever just told you something simple as close your mouth and say your name in your head right now? Say your name. Did you hear your name? Give me some hearts. Give me some hearts. When you say your name in your head, do you hear that person talking inside without your mouth moving? That's your spirit, just in case you didn't know. So when you're praying in the spirit, it's without moving your mouth. That's why I've never understood. Hey, Mickey, check it out, Mikey. I'm sorry, Mickey. Check it out. So when they always said they took prayer out of schools or they take prayer, how is that possible? You can't possibly take prayer out of anything. If I pray in the spirit, how could you possibly know I'm doing so? So it's a false flag, right? There's no such thing as you take prayer out of school. It's impossible. You may take out loud prayer out of school, but you couldn't take prayer out of school. That's just simple. I can do that equation in my head. It's impossible. But guys, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I was talking about Joseph Allen, and so is this the coronal mass ejection that he saw about a week and a half ago? And he felt like was going to happen so soon, and it was just days away from happening. Then what about this 3-eye atlas? Is it coming in right around the right times? What's it going to do? Because I don't know if do you guys follow Brandon Biggs? You ever listen to Brandon Biggs on? I mean, he's nonstop praying and prophesying. He's prophesied more than Isaiah, I think. However, different ones. He's prophesied more than they have. He does it daily, but he hits it right the president getting shot in the ear. He had that one down. You know, he called that one beforehand. He called the Bondi, what was it, hit on her life. He said 50,000. I think they said it was 45,000 or something like that. She really had a hit on her life. He called these things. And there's been several other things. Right before, what was it? Remember that shooting and that guy drove through and what was it, New Orleans, right before the Super Bowl, or the and then that guy that burned the car over there in Las Vegas. They did it about the same time. They used Elon Musk vehicles. That Brandon Biggs called that, and he was right. He's been right about quite a few things. He's called a lot of things though. So you don't know how much is more futuristic, how much might happen in just a month or two or days away. You just never know. But he did talk about Three Eye Atlas, and he did talk about it being sentient. I have heard a lot about December 14th. I really have. And that's my mom's birthday. And I don't know. I've heard a lot about it. But you got to understand, okay, so I've told you that we're in the season. And the reason why I say we're in the season is because in 2015, I was in the autumn season when I was told 10 years. I was around, it was around now, around this time. It wasn't long from now that Elijah was gone, okay, and the angels were gone, okay. But it was somewhere around now, like between now and say the 15th, I'm guessing, right, of this month, that they're around. And I was told 10 years. Now, and that's a guesstimate because I say about 3 weeks because I'm going off of memory because at the time I wasn't thinking about how long was he actually here. I just know he was here and then he was gone. Okay. And it's the spirit of Elijah. And that spirit travels around, guys. It was in Elisha got a double portion. He said John the Baptist. I guarantee you it was way more before that. And then he was promised in the end, and I received that one. So I do understand that the spirit moves around. That my son's not Elijah, but he had the spirit of Elijah on him who spoke with me. Does that make sense? It's kind of like back in the old days. I'll give you an example. If a man talked to the Spirit of God through a tree, and instead of knowing that he talked through the Spirit of God through something, he called the tree God. So he took it wrong. If he called the tree God, he took it wrong. The tree wasn't God. The Spirit of God came to him through that tree. So the spirit of Elijah came to me through my son. And in the Bible, it says, in the last days, I will send you the prophet Elijah. And you'll turn the hearts of fathers to their sons. Jesus says it, Isaiah says it, and Malachi says it. Okay? So it's all throughout the Bible. Yeah, listen. I hear it is. Here's how I feel about it. Look, I'm in this season, and if you go back, and I do have a video on here, and you get back. I think you probably looked at my TikTok. If you go back, I've been talking about this longer than these other people have. Okay, been saying this for 10 years, 5 years online because I learned how to use TikTok back 5 years ago. Okay, but what my story I've been telling for a good while. Now, I expect it to come true. The thing really happened. There's more than one person that talked to him. My wife talked to him, and my mother-in-law, she could tell you she talked to him. She talked to the spirit of Elijah through my son. She can tell you that. And my mother-in-law, family don't want to believe you for nothing. So there's three people that can say this. Plus, my son, if I could actually get him to talk about it, would tell you that that did happen. But that's four witnesses. Okay. What did he tell her? Well, I'll tell you this. He told her a lot of things. I don't know exactly. I wasn't there for that because he actually spent weekend with her or two during this time. I think it was one full weekend during this time. And one of the things that he told her that bothered her, it did bother her, was he told her that her spirit represented Simon Peter. That part didn't bother her it bothered her a little bit. And what he meant by was is that she kind of goes back and forth, and she does. She'll listen. I can talk to her, and she'll get something fully. She'll go talk to somebody else or read something else, and she'll come back, and I have to completely reteach her it all over again. Then she's like, "Oh, it's a Simon Peter type of spirit." He also told her that she kind of, in a way, represented the four horses of the apocalypse. Now, this is talking to a person personally. So we're not talking about the world's version, but talking to her personally. And it bothered her. And I said, well, he said, three have already come and one was yet to come through her. It was an example. So I said, let's go look. So we looked and we got to the dark horse. And and we'd kind of figured out the other ones and thought about what they meant. And we got to the dark horse, and it says the dark horse comes holding a pair of scales. Well, I told her back then, I was like, what do you, okay, there's one of them. My wife is a Libra. So when she had her, she was holding a pair of scales. And then I told you, Elijah told me the end started in 1977. My wife happens to be born in 1977. So there's a lot of parallels. You see what I'm saying? A lot of parallels, things that'll make sense to just you. And there were things that were for just her, just like there was things for just me. But then there was things that I could tell that kind of affect all of us, I believe. And what if I get to the end of this and this 10-year venture was just my own thing? I doubt that, though, because of the way everything's been going. The reason why Joshua got me so good, as far as like, I still have yet to call him false. I still yet, because I still, and believe me that this is a growing, the Exodus, I believe he misunderstood his own message. Do you see what I'm saying? Sort of, in a kind of way. Is that what, do you guys see what I'm saying? When he said the Exodus, he thought rapture. Exodus is a process. Rapture may be a process too, but what's up? What's up? Okay, Mary. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. The only person that really listens to us, me and my wife, because my wife totally was there. She'll talk to me about it all day long, but we've been talking about it for over 10 years. So it's like a lot, just memories brought up. Or hey, Melissa. So what do they call a woman that goes to heaven? I know it's going to be a joke. Is it lucky? Oh, you better watch out. These women in here get you. That is that. You didn't mean to say a brood. That's. I thought you was gonna make a joke at it, but it's a pretty good joke. Brides? Yeah. Well, look. I mean, you got to look at where we've been with it. Now we've been from. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the 3 days of darkness in just a second. But where we've been with this, look, we started down there Gregorian, and how in the world they found that 15 days is missing in 1582 or whatever. And so I checked behind him and I run my phone up there because your phone will go all the way back. I ran it back and sure enough, the days are missing. So it made me kind of like, well, what is this Julian? But then I start to think, even if the Julian calendar was real around during that time, I don't think that would be the heavenly calendar, even though it was around during Jesus's time. It was only around, started about 50 years, 30 something years maybe before Jesus was born. And I remember him saying, give Caesar what is Caesar's, meaning The calendar is Caesar's, not his. Does that make sense? That might be a hidden gem in there, right? So then, where do we go? They start talking about the lunar. But then they say the lunar is off by certain degrees. So then takes you to the Enoch calendar, which is more of a equinox solar calendar, which makes most sense because Enoch went to heaven and came back with this calendar, correct? Isn't that the story, how the story goes? And I would love to get the Ethiopian Bible. I just can't afford it, guys. I'll be honest with you. This has been rough. I've had it so good. Life was pretty decent to me for a while. Just before September 23rd, to be honest with you. My dog of like 9 years on September 23rd just has a seizure and dies right in front of me in the floor. Big, nice, heavy set, nice, pretty dog just died on me, And I didn't have a whole lot of time to mourn over that because I was so excited for the rapture. But anyway, then, of course, 23rd, 24th went by. Had very high hopes. I mean, this guy's saying 1,000,000,000%, right? It's just what happens in life. But then, then they moved the next time to the 7th, which is my wife's birthday. So we're both Libras. I was born on Rosh Hashanah in 1976. They were calling it the true Rosh Hashanah October the 7th. Of course, we know what happened October the 7th 2 years ago in Israel. But anyway, so there it was right there. And that day she walks out to the mailbox and a truck drives by and kills our big, nice, pretty rooster. So I was like, man, what's going on? That's two animals I basically had to, bury like right around the same times. And then, we do Poshmark, or we had been doing Poshmark shows. I'll turn it around and show you guys real quick so you kind of see what are we doing here. Okay, so we do shows, and this is a woman's store, clothing store. And we were doing pretty good with it. It was a start. So because I became disabled, I got hurt really bad on a tree job and had to have 5 surgeries last year. And it made me disabled, but we started trying to do the Poshmark thing, and it slowed down on us. It just kind of evolved, and now it's like, then the guy that I got my land through started, I worked for my land. I would go clean houses, and it would pay my land note. And then all of a sudden, he says he doesn't build houses anymore, and I need to pay him right now, along with the highest electric bills that how the summer was, and literally just siphoned all the money out of the store. So I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's like we're fumbling so bad, Government shut down. Just a lot of things going on right now that do affect us, And so while I'm being excited for the rapture, I'm being attacked from every corner, guys, financially. And I don't even have that many finances. I mean, like, $600 covers everything of mine for a whole month, like, financial-wise. And I'm going under. But it's happening right here around this rapture time, so I'm thinking, maybe I'm supposed to. I'm about to get out of here, Yeah, mockers and scoffers are fulfilling prophecy. That is what they're supposed to do, guys. I mean, there's even mockers and so I don't know what the difference between a scoffer and a mocker is, or if they're basically the same thing. So if somebody could break that down for me, but there's even kind of scoffing. I was thinking about it, and I was like, remember in Noah's day, there were people that entered the ark with him, and God was talking to Noah, not the whole group. And I'm sure he wasn't talking to Noah every day. He would just tell him things here and there like he does everybody. Okay? And I'm sure the people were asking him questions among his own group. Hey, when's this going to be? I thought we're in this ark. Why isn't it raining yet? 3 days in, 4 days in, the 6th day in, no rain. Been in this boat with these stinking animals and ain't no rain yet. Don't you know he was getting complaints? Where's it at, Noah? Yeah, I mean, I just don't really understand it. Like things were moving smoothly for me. I was making money. Our sales was good, and then right around the September 23rd, everything just all of a sudden my land purchase is different. Now he wants money, and I mean he's being rough. He's being like he was hitting me up on every platform and sending me texts. Like literally, I had to block him and send him a message and tell him, I'll get you when I get you. I mean, I don't know what else to do. And then, you know, I have help in other ways, but that's not that way. And it's getting bad, you know. So it's like, I don't even know, you know, I'm just trying to, a business has to pay for itself first, right? So if you have to get a building and stock it out, obviously it has to pay for itself first, pay for the building, pay for itself, and then as it grows it begins to pay for your own stuff. But first a business pays for itself. As soon as I got started, everybody put their hand out, you know, like, oh, you get, the landowner said, if you can do that, you can pay me instead of working. And the other help I was getting did the same exact thing. So literally, like, they siphoned all the money out of the business. What I have left is basically stuff that they're not, you know, not highly. So, but I don't need to talk about me. I'm just telling you, not without problems. Okay, I have my own problems, and I'm excited for the Lord to get here. And these problems make me even more excited. I don't know why everything starts to crumble right around this time, but it has for me. I live in an area where, okay, so here's where I'm at. You know, not only did I got my muscle ripped off my arm. Okay, I was pushing a stump into another guy. Man, we were pushing a stump into a truck. He let go. When he let go, all the weight came back on me. It ripped my bicep off my arm, busted my knee out, and when I went to the doctor, I had 5 hernias. So I had to have surgery 5 times. And I'm supposed to have it on the other knee, but this knee was so horrible on me. I think I'm going to give it a second, take some shots in this knee or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do it, but I've got a new knee. I had to have my bicep will never look right, but it was put back on my arm. Uh, so I've got somebody else's tendons or whatever in my arm. Yeah, he's been pouring out his spirit. Are you kidding? It's like a neon sign. I mean, it'd be one thing if I mean in the past we've had people say things. You'd hear about near death experiences a lot, you know. Maybe one channel doing that. Every once in a while you'd hear Sid Roth. You could listen to Sid Roth and hear somebody talking about their dream or an experience or a vision, visitations, and they sound so extraordinary that they're harder to believe, correct? But when you got normal people getting online that don't do so normally, they just get on there for their one time because they don't feel like they can let it go and tell their dream. And you got channels like Uplifted playing dream after dream after dream after dream after vision. Then Cloud9 Blessings, nonstop, every day, 2 or 3 a day. Some children. I mean, and it's just there's a lot of like amateurs that just get on there and tell their story once. They're not trying to get on there for clicks. They're not on there for money to tell a story. and it's happening everywhere, that's quite an outpouring. And who all have you been trying to tell about the Elijah thing? Exactly how are you telling it? You know, I mean, I guess you're talking to them, you're talking to family members, or who, who have you been talking to about it? Maybe church members? Listen, they always are going to tell you to be careful. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful what you listen to. I tell you, be careful who you don't listen to. Listen to everyone and make your own decisions. Yeah, I remember when I first woke up. Do you guys remember when you first woke up? When I would walk, I didn't even want to go places. I would go to the grocery store, and it would feel like I was around a bunch of cattle. Like everybody seemed like they're in their own little zombie world. Some of them might have been awake in there that I don't know, but for the most part, you feel like you're around a bunch of dead people. Does that make sense? When you first wake up? Now, I've been awake for a while. I've been awake for, I would say, since about '08. Started waking up before then, but the fully awake since about '08. So how long is that now? Joshua, you know, I'll tell you why. Look, so this is why Joshua and Michael attracted me so much, and I still can't let go of the story. And I'll tell you why. Because the names me and my wife were given back in '08 in the spirit by Jesus was Joshua and Zerubbabel. So when they come on saying a guy named Joshua and Michael saying he felt the spirit of Zerubbabel on him, it wasn't hard for me to believe. I knew there would be more. Does that make sense? So when I hear their story, they had the right names in place. I'm thinking, hey, here's some more, right? I realize that it's the spirit of, I was given the spiritual name that, but there's more spiritual names, you know, and more than Elijah told me that there were 4,000 like us. 4,000 of the 144 are like Joshua and Zerubbabel. So when I heard this, it wasn't hard for me to believe. Any hearts? Anybody go following me on this? I mean, I tell you what, if we didn't, I'm the most impatient person in the world. I go to the store, I'm ready to go home. Even if I want to go to the store, instantly I get in there, I'm ready to go home. You know, I go pick the one thing I wanted, let's go. I don't want to shop. All right, same thing here. I'm impatient, but I'm patient. This is causing patience because I've never been through this much in one season. You see how the season, everything's happening in the season. Did it start before the season? When did the fall season start? It started September the 21st. Okay. Since then, how many days have we had super high watch days? I call them super high watch days. Some other people may have set a date, whatever. I just call them super high watch days. They may have just been calling them high watch days themselves. But literally, how many Feast of Trumpets we're about to go through another Feast of Trumpets, right? This season, how long does the autumn season go to? I think somebody said December 21st. That's almost to the end of the year. Am I correct on that? That anybody can look that up real quick. I'll look it up. Yeah, and look, you were told look at the virgins that have plenty of oil. So we sit here still excited after all these things have happened. Isn't that virgins with plenty of oil? Wouldn't you say? the excitement keeps going because we're the virgins that have the oil. What happened to the other ones that fell off? They only had enough oil for a certain date. When that date passed, they don't want to hear it anymore. See, now I see November 16th, 17th. I'm looking at tomorrow and the next day, okay? You see how it keeps growing. Why is it the 16th and 17th now? Then I've heard that September, it would mirror September. So would it be not be November 23rd and 24th if it mirrored? And then, but November 23rd and 24th, when is the new moon? When is the full moon? I ask you guys that. Does that matter? That does matter if we're talking about November being the true Feast of Trumpets and the Day of Atonement and the Feast of Tabernacles. Those come one after each other. You have the first, the Feast of Trumpets. 10 days later, the Day of Atonement. 5 days after that, you have the Feast of Tabernacles, and that feast lasts 8 days. So if we're redoing that all over again in November, you see how it grows again, guys, and keeps going? Yeah, look, but pre this, I never thought about any of the other calendars. I didn't pay attention to them. I mean, I kind of like pay attention to the Jewish feasts, but I had no idea I was going to find out the things that I found out. How about you guys? I mean, are you blown away with all the increased knowledge that we've gotten? That Daniel chapter 12 says, knowledge will increase. Look how much knowledge has increased on that. We got people running to and fro for the answers, and knowledge is increasing. I literally, and if other people may have known these things, but I personally didn't know these things, or if I've heard them before, it didn't mean anything to me until it meant something to me. Is that you know like when you read something out of the Bible, and you read it one way this time, but then an experience happens that makes you go back and reread it, and then it means has a whole new light to you because you had the experience. So it excites you because you're like, I know what this is talking about. I had this experience. Instead of just reading through it, trying like somebody else went through it. Yeah, look, the veil is being lifted. When you say a veil's been lifted over this autumn season already, a lot of veil's been lifted. And I'll be honest with you, like I watch the skies a lot. Any of you guys watch the skies? Any of you notice different things? Well, the movement I see in the skies is a little too much movement to call satellites. Because when I was a kid, we had satellites, okay? They had satellite TV when I was a kid, and I don't know how many stations. You didn't pay for it back then if you bought a satellite. They were a big old huge thing. And I watched the skies a lot as a kid, and I didn't see dots moving across the sky nonstop at a certain speed. And it makes me wonder, it's like, they tell them to travel at a certain speed so that they won't be detected, and they can say they're satellites. Why do they move and crisscross? Why wouldn't this one go this way and stay over here, and this was why would they crisscross and go different directions? What's up with that? Does that interest anyone else? Really? Well, that excites me, okay? That excites me. And I don't know. I can go off of it. Like, I can look at these other people and I get excited about it because it's in the season that I believe. When I say I believe, how would you take it if Elijah told you 10 years ago, you were in 2015, started right around October 7th. I know this because I took my wife to her birthday, and that's when she told me about my son. So I come back and began to question him, and then a lot happened after that, and this went on for 3 or 4 weeks. So what is now? Today's the what? The 12th? So I'd say around now it's getting closer to finished. You know, him being gone. If I'm right about, I may be off a week or two. I don't know. I'm guessing around 3 weeks. And Mick, you asked me, did you like my answer I gave you that you asked me about Elijah in that comment that we talked about earlier today? If you talked to Elijah, you'd be shaking right now. Well, I was back then, but I had so much going on, so many spiritual things. It was just another one of them, but it ended up one of the biggest ones. You see what I'm saying? I had no idea it was coming. I had no idea when she told me you need to talk to him. I was excited to talk to him, but I never expected Elijah. I never got. But look, guys, throughout the Bible, Gabriel comes to all these people. And if you believe the Bible, and I tell you Gabriel came and talked to me, why would you not believe it? We believe the Bible, right? All these same characters that are in there are still alive coming to us today. If somebody, Gabriel can come to somebody and talk to them, you know? It's just that simple, you know? Just like Elijah came and spoke with me, and he had Gabriel with him. And I would know which one was talking by the way they talked. It was completely different. It was a wild experience, and it was exciting, and it was real. And I have witnesses. Now, as far as like these, I believe, like I tell you, Joseph Allen is so genuine. You not feel the genuineness of him when he talks. He wakes up from dreams. He wants to tell you about it right then. He's so excited. It'd be 3 a.m. He'll be sipping on water. Look, hair all messed up. Got to tell it before he forgets it. He is the same. Man changed. God hadn't changed. Man changed. You know, there's a lot of men believe that God won't talk to you today. He talks to people today. Talks to people today. It's just man quit being able to hear him. He's still talking. It's the carnal mind, which is earthly mind, that keeps man from heavenly things. Okay? So what I had, and when I had my experience, okay, because I had things in the spirit that are going to happen in the now. Like we will get a new heaven and a new earth. The Bible tells that, explains the way it's going to look and all of that. Have you guys agree? But I've had a lot of this happen to me spiritually. The new heaven and the new earth for me was a new heart and a new mind. Instead of looking at things with the earthly mind, I try to look from heaven at heavenly things. You see what I'm saying? So it's easier for me to believe a story that people tell because I've had experiences of my own that were heavenly. So I can relate to it. And I realize that we all have different ways that he speaks to us. Look, when I had my experience and I was given my name and all of that by Jesus, it was a huge experience. I could tell you all about it, the whole experience. Now, I went to my wife when she had her experience the day before I did. I asked her, I was excited to hear about hers. And she just said he told her. And I was like, he just told her and she believed. I went through this huge experience. I had to go through all this stuff. And she didn't have to go through all that to get the exact same thing I got. Does that make sense? So it made me realize then that not everybody requires the same amount to believe. Some people are going to make it there just on faith of never having any spiritual experiences. Do you understand that? Just because of their faith. And that's stronger than having experiences. To be honest with you, if you can make it there just on faith. But I prefer my spiritual experiences. How about you guys? But I haven't had, I've had A few things happened, like off and on throughout the years since, but nothing like 10 years ago. I had about 2 or 3 years there where it was nonstop. Things that would blow your mind. You'd had to been there. And I'm sure you guys do too. But I've had enough happen to me for all of us together to, I could give y'all some of my experiences and I still believe. You know what I mean? So how about it? Man, anybody what's up? I've been talking. I've been on here telling you stuff. Somebody give me something. Somebody talked about Sister Louise a minute ago. Who was that? I might be saying her name wrong. And the 3.5 days of darkness. Let's talk about that. Anybody got anything on the 3.5 days of darkness? I really wish that we could be all on the same screen and I could hear you guys vocally. I know they do that on them Zoom calls, but I don't know how to work technology just quite like that, you know. You wouldn't believe how many times it takes me to do a video. I put my video out at I actually put it out at 11:11 this morning. Do you know I started trying to make it at 6 o'clock in the morning? I literally went out there, things kept happening. A big truck would pass by, loud trailer hitting, and when it passed by, I couldn't remember where I was at. I would have to start the video because I don't know how to edit. So if I mess up anywhere, I start the whole video over again. That's horrible, ain't it? I'm going to have to learn how to edit. I'm going to spend some time. I was trying to do it from the computer, do YouTube from the computer, and I still haven't gotten that in yet. So I'm still using my phone. So now, aliens, now look, we know that they're going to be demonic, right? Whatever it is going to be demonic. If it's not a hoax, it's going to be demonic. They're going to come down here and try to change world religion and say that everybody was created from them, whoever it is, and try to convince people that maybe this is the Messiah, possibly. I don't know. AI is going to have its part in it, right? AI is not going to end up a good thing. That's been told to us for some years. I mean, the movie came out when we were kids. AI is at the cusp. They were saying by the end of 2026, it'll be super AI, or is it the other AI, the bigger one? I have a different kind of feeling tonight too. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting ready to go to try to see these aurora lights. Did you guys get a chance to see them last night at all? I posted pictures on YouTube that my wife took last night, and we're in Arkansas. We're in the middle of Arkansas. So if you just took a pinpoint, put it dead in the middle, that's where we're at. Okay? And literally, aurora lights look like they do. And where is it? Antarctic, where is it? The Arctics? Alaska, where is it they see it? I mean, it would be normal to see them in you might see it from some of the top states like maybe Minnesota or Maine or something. But for us to be taking pictures of the aurora lights in Mexico and Florida, what's going on, guys? Huh? Didn't Sister Louise say something about this? She said something about we would see colorful lights in the sky, and then the next thing you know, it would be 3 days of darkness. Right after that, I'm trying to add all this up together. Here it is, November, right around the 13th, 14th, and we're getting these lights. Is it a possibility that we could get these 3 days of darkness to go along with it? I I don't totally understand it. I know that it happened during Moses' time. This is a different kind of darkness, and they say that there's going to be something in the darkness. It was if you take a look at my post pictures, the ones I can post on there, you'll see what color it was here. And I know it had to been beautiful there. What would happen? Well, you know, I don't know. I'm not expecting that. Just because of the season I was in when I was told it. Now, was he talking about an exact? Was he talking about exactly from that point? Was he talking about it would never be a 2026? There's a lot there that, I am just a man trying to understand spiritual things, right? Even if I've got 10 years of it, there's always more to learn, right? But I personally, because of the being in the fall season, when I was told 10 years, I took it 10 years from that point, which puts us in the exact season when all of this is happening. And I keep saying they're not going to let it go. And what do they keep not doing? They keep not letting it go. What? I've I've heard today was one of the days. Tomorrow and the next day are super high watch days. We just had somebody on here just say the 16th and 17th for whatever reason. I've heard the 23rd and 20th. Is it every day this week? Every day the rest of the month? We're on all high watch days? That would be strange now, wouldn't it? BlackRock, 100% money. Yeah. But it's about to all switch over to digital. They don't want to take this paper money no more. I tell you how they do. The best way they do it is to have something that sounds like pandemic and have everybody where they don't want to touch money. So then they'll go full digital. Does that make sense? You don't want to touch the money because you might have fentanyl on it or some kind of pandemic. So let's just do away with that and we'll go all fully digital. Most people are using it that way anyway. Wouldn't you expect? That's right. That's right here. You got Robert Downey Jr. I'm not saying his name right. Robert. I said Robert Downey Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. or John. Saying that we need what is it? That everybody needs to be wearing something for their health. He's wanting to implement that. They're already implementing this stuff in Europe, right? Some of you guys from Europe, anybody in here from Europe? They're already I heard the leader over there talking about it. Then they're going to go to a digital-based system where you have to have something in your body in your persons to be able to use. They're talking about digital IDs here. Last time I went to go get a light, they won't know if I want a digital ID. I don't know what that really matters because everything's almost digital. I carry around a phone with a chip in it, putting it up next to my head. However, we're right here at the cusp of them putting something in the hand or in the head. They're already doing that. But on a scale of how can AI keep up with everybody if, unless you have it on you, then AI knows where you're at all times and what you're doing. It knows your heart rate, if you're feeling what kind of mood you're in, possibly your thoughts. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that? But AI it's all going to come together. That's the way they're going to try to fix all this. They're going to do it in the name of security, peace and security through everyone. You see what I'm saying? It's for your safety, so you won't have your identity stolen or, something like that. Yeah, they want your DNA for a database, right? I want Jesus too. I'm ready for Jesus. Anybody else here ready for Jesus? Raise your hand. Put some hearts up there. I better see a whole bunch of stuff. I'm so ready for Jesus. I wish he would just come on with it. Jesus, Lord, please, Jesus, come on, come. I'm so ready for you. I'm tired of this world. I'm tired of seeing these miserable things that keep happening. No matter who's in charge, it never gets better. It just heads to a different kind of worse. I don't know what to do about it. I love, I'm more on I cannot be for abortion, so I can't. The other side's crazy, but you can't totally trust any of them. It's like watching 1980s wrestling. You know, they're all like really friends. They just pretend to not like each other on TV. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's lots of people have come to Christ in these days, and a lot of people look. I don't know if you guys heard this. I don't know. It has to be more of a theory but I heard a guy tell a dream earlier that kind of interested me. Or you guys want to hear it? I don't know if you've heard this yet, but this guy said that he had a dream. No, he woke up. It wasn't in a dream. He woke up and he was fully alert, and he said he could hear the voice of God, but he couldn't hear it audibly, but very clear in his spirit. Oh, wait. And he said, get ready for the 3 midnight hours. Have y'all heard of that? Anybody heard about the 3 midnight hours? Anything about that? Because it's new to me hearing it. But I'll go ahead and explain to you what he said. Are y'all interested? Heart? All right, okay. So way he explained it is that the first fruits basically are the people that are ready now, and you know who you are if you're a first fruit. You already know it. They would be taken at the first midnight hour, and it's a spiritual midnight, not 12 o'clock at night. So he said it was a spiritual midnight and not set on a time zone or whatever. But first fruits were taken, and that would be like first rapture. Then he says that you've got Christians that aren't quite ready yet, that need some tribulation to go through before they get raptured. It's called pre-trib. And he said the third one brought him to tears, because the third one is you've got people that still won't let go of their pride in the world. They're Christians, but the third one was they would be martyred, and that's the third rapture. When they're raptured, it's the third. That he spoke of three of them, and it interested me pretty much because it sounds right in my heart, my spirit, but I don't. I've never read it that way, or I've never had anybody explain it that way. But I have always wondered why some say you've got some that say every one of them, right, and believe in every one of them. But I would hate to believe that I have to go through the stuff. And wouldn't you say that? Listen, I know when I got sealed, it was an actual experience. If anybody else had that experience, you felt the seal, you knew when you got sealed. Okay. So, okay, yeah. I know when I got sealed. I've known that but it's been a long time. Like, I've seen people wake up since, like, I watched a lot of people wake up, even online. Like, I mean, for example, these are just different people. They're not fully, but anybody watch Jordan Peterson? Everybody seen his change from the way he used to talk to the way he talks now? Same way with, like, say, Joe Rogan, the way they used to talk and then the way they talk now. You know, you see them spiritually awake. Tucker Carlson did the same thing, where you see them start to awaken. Now, to what they awaken to is, it's different for each man. But what I'm saying is I've seen a spiritual awakening throughout the years, people at different times. I've been awake since '08. I got sealed in '08. It was '08. And I've seen people since saying they've been sealed since. So this angels going out to seal people's been going on for a while. For multiple of years now. And I would say by now, as close as we are to rapture time or Exodus time, that the people that are sealed know who they are. Anybody else agree? I don't know. I don't have as many people on here now, and I've been on here over an hour. I should be growing, right? Instead, it's decreasing. Is it not interesting? I guess it's because I'm talking to a few people. I'll tell you what. My first dream I ever had, I think I would say it's the only dream I've ever had with Jesus in it. Okay. And I remember being in my garage, and there was people in there, and I used to have get-together. So there was more than one person in my garage. And somebody walked up to me and said, "Hey, Jesus is here for you." Well, I remember when I was looking at him, this is about how much I seen from here down. I never saw his face. I was more like looking at his robe. And I remember like a blue sash or something to that nature. He had one of those, okay? And there was 2 buses out front, and he wanted me on his bus, which was the bus up front. And that was the dream I had. I remember being on the bus with Jesus, and we were headed somewhere. And I was just thinking randomly, I was embarrassed about something, and I had no reason to be embarrassed. Jesus made me feel that way. And then I woke up, but that was my dream with Jesus in it. It was about being on the bus up front. But there were 2 buses, right? And the rapture, looking at the rapture and thinking about it, I know there's a pre-rapture, but there is a lot of there's a lot of can go all kind of ways on that, right? So what if that is more than just a theory? I mean, I don't know. I keep my mind open, guys. This is what we're doing. We're repenting, thinking about these things. That's called rethinking, a new way of thinking, accepting things that you haven't. Accepting new wine. You have to do it in a new wine skin. You can't. We enjoy the old wine. There's nothing wrong with it. But you got to be able to accept new things and rethink them and repent and think that way. Does that make sense? So, us trying to think of how would 3 raptures work? How does that make sense? Well, the last one, rapture, is this lose your life rapture. That's martyr. That's martyrdom. But I can see how there's people ready now, and I can see how it could take a little more of people going through some tribulations. I feel like I've already been through some tribulation. Going through it now, actually. Some, or at least the birthing pain. We're right here. I tell you what, this is how close we are. We've got a 9-month pregnant woman that's about to have the baby. And we just don't know which day it's on, right? But it's close. Get that phone call at any moment that you got to go to the hospital because the baby's coming. Okay, so first rapture is pre-rapture. Second is lose life rapture. Third is Jesus comes back, is how I see it. Could be. I mean, that makes sense too. I mean, I could see that one. You know, that's just what I'm doing, repenting, trying to think it out. How would that work? Instead of saying, no, that's crazy, how would it work? How does it make sense? Well, I see what you're talking about pre-rapture. And if you got to go through some tribulation, but the last part of tribulation is straight antichrist. That's straight lose your life. It possibly could be that way in the first part of tribulation, but we know it's going to lead up to something, and times are going to get real bad, along with natural disasters. I mean, happening some everywhere. I mean, my God, look at that flood in Texas. And did anybody saw the one, was it North Carolina? When I saw that, actually saw that, it scared the, you know what, out of me. I mean, to be just standing somewhere and look up and a wave come out of the mountains and take houses all the way out of a mountain, the wave higher, and it's just some kind of flash flood rain. When did we get rains like that? Yeah, I don't want to be here. Look, the first part of tribulation, like 2 billion people are supposed to die. We have 8 billion people on earth. 2 billion people are supposed to die in the first part of tribulation. Now, you think I want to be in that? You think I want to be a part of that? And I don't think we're in tribulation if we're sitting here talking like this right there. We have to be in the, tribulation is about to start, or it has started. You know what? I would say it probably started October 13th. What do you think? When they went over there and signed that peace treaty. I think that would be an indicator that a lot's about to happen fast. Right. Look, the first seals, the first trumpet, the first seals, a third of the earth, things happen there. A third of the earth dies. A third of the earth burns. A third of the earth is destroyed by in different ways. That is also the people. That's the first part of tribulation, guys. So it has to be pre-trib, and then, you know, a lot of people had to go. I can see people having to go. Don't you see like some Christians that are almost there? They're just kind of floater Christians. They believe they go through the motions, but they don't really surrender. And it would take a little bit of tribulation to get them to go on and give in to God, because He's just trying to get their attention. They don't know where they're at. I'll pray for them. Hey, let's pray for her. Pray right now, dear Lord. I pray for our pregnant sister. She can't find, dear Lord. Please let her find her. She's 6 months pregnant. I don't know where she's at, but dear Lord, be with her right now. I call it in the name of Jesus Christ right now. Find her. Uh, well, let's just say they called it an eternal. That's what Trump called it. He actually said that, but no, it didn't. Hadn't even started yet. I mean, literally, like they went right back to fighting, right? But Israel's doing something right now. So they're clearing out the area. They've got, you can't really talk out about Israel. It's not like, you get what I'm saying. You say certain things, I might get blocked. But there's certain things going over there. Wouldn't you think you got to clear the area out, and before they begin to build the temple, they've got to kind of get rid of some of the people in the area to do so. So although can't speak out about them, say certain things. I do think certain things are going on that we wouldn't approve of, but they're things that are leading us up to them building the temple. They got to back these people up, get them out of the way, make certain things okay. But no, the treaty's not going to last. It's definitely not going to last 7 years. All the countries are talking about testing nuclear weapons. I mean, look at the weapons of mass destruction that we have. They can press a button and not take out all of New York. One button, New York gone off the map. Next button, just take out, and they could just hit 5, 6, and just clear America totally. And we could do their countries the same way. So yes, this is the worst time ever in history to be talking about wars and rumors of wars. Worst in history. And then these awful things that just happen. I don't know how many people they talk about dying wars, but look at some of our inner cities here in America. They're worse than Baghdad. You might be safer in Baghdad than going to Memphis, Tennessee, or Chicago, or New York City. You might be safer in Baghdad. Look, the Lord wants all saved. We know we can look and see certain people. Now, I mean, some of these people aren't people. I mean, I would say that whatever demonic's already taken over them, you can tell it. You can see the way they act. It's all in our pop culture. The way these people are starting to look are almost unreal. Anybody seen Ariana Grande lately? What is going on with that? She was beautiful. The girl's lost so much weight and acts like a complete goon, like she's on meth or something. Ever since she did that little witch movie, she's got weird. And all these actors are looking weird. Actors and singers. Why do they do the things that they do? At my life is a lie. Oh, Kim, you talking about the prayer? Yeah, well, okay, so let's talk about Satan and how long he's been here. Satan's been here since the garden. Lucifer has been here since the beginning. Lucifer roamed the earth, sometimes called Satan. But Lucifer roamed the earth all the way to Jesus, all the way when Jesus was here, remember? He tried to tempt him. Remember that? But he followed him into hell whenever he was crucified. Thought he would certainly get him there. But he was stomped there and enchained there. And Jesus came up with the keys to Hades and to death. So who controls death? And who controls who goes to hell? It's not Lucifer. Anybody want to say I'm wrong? We can go search it in the Bible. If you control the keys to death and you control who goes to hell, then that's what you control. Jesus controls that. Lucifer is locked down and has had no control here ever since the cross. Now Satan is in the mind. Satan was planted in the mind. That keeps growing. The Nephilim are the demonic spirits. Satan himself is in the mind. He's not in my mind. And I can show you an example of somebody who Satan never got to. He's in the first book that was ever written in the Bible was which one? Who knows the first book that was ever written in the Bible? Yeah, Miley Cyrus does look terrible. I would agree. What are they doing? These are beautiful looking people at one point. They've got odd looking in the eyes and everything. They answer stupid and goofy ways that don't make sense. They say robotic or demonic sounding like things. I mean, there's something going on. And I don't even know what's going on with The Rock, but he looks weird lately. The Rock don't look like The Rock anymore. He looks more like a pebble. They need to change his name to Pea Gravel. Have you anybody seen The Rock? He's not big anymore. He's like a little bitty old black man's what he looks like. Yeah, and there's a lot going on in our government that obviously we have no control over. There's things that go. Listen, nothing hurts me more in my heart and my spirit than to hear that something happens to children. That people do things to children. That hurts my spirit really bad. Where did these planes of thousands of children disappear to that nobody talks about? Yeah, The Rock does. But I mean, that bothers the crap out of me, And I watched the movie that they tried to keep from everybody. What was that? The same guy played Jesus in the Passion. What's that? What's the name of that movie? Well, I watched it, and I mean, they held a lot back, and it still brought me to tears. Okay, but this really goes on, and there's a huge part of the world that's a part of it, but it's a part of the world that not even a president can complain. You know why the Epstein things haven't come out yet? You know why Epstein, they won't? Because you can't take out kings and queens. You understand what I'm saying? When it gets to that level of type of people and they bring these things out, that's when presidents fall. Does that make sense? That's when people in power fall. They find out real quickly who's in charge when they get there. And when you start talking about kings and get up to somebody like, say, Prince Charles and these type of people, the stuff just kind of dissipates and goes away. So we'll never get the full truth out of that. But there's something that they do to the children that is awful. And we're not allowed to talk about it. They called it something started with a Q back in the early days of Trump. And now you can't talk about it or you'll be canceled. I believe it's still that way. I don't want to say it. Yeah, Epstein's just the fall guy, right? He's just the fall guy. He was just the in-between. He'd get everything done. He could get, he was constantly working on that, okay? And other things. They bought him an island. I mean, they bought him an island to do this, okay? And nobody knew what was going on. However, a lot of your high-end people have been to this island. They knew what was going on, okay? But when you get past talking about our governmental people and you start getting into higher ups than that, then you're never going to find out the story, because that's who's really in control, not democracies, not uh, uh, what is it? We're not just a democracy, but yeah, whatever we are. You can't. Once it gets past that, you're never going to hear about it. Well, I think once it made it to Prince William, you notice how he just disappeared. So did all the stuff about him. Oh, they're not going to allow that to happen. So since it's went up that far, they can't release it. Okay, trust me, if Trump was in there, they would have done released it. They would have threw it all in his face. Okay, even if he is in there, they can't let it out. If they're going to let out kings and queens and things of that, they just can't say it, right? But I don't believe he's in there. I don't believe he's in there because he's been too vocal about stuff beforehand. But once he got in there, they're not pushing anything to really let anything out like they said they would, because it's way up higher than them. Start getting that. I don't know. I think that it's would be kings and queens at the top, but then you still have a level of, like, say, Rothschilds, and I don't know who's higher, who and what. When you start getting into these people, things just dissipate and go away. You know, the people that own the Fed, and you're not going to hear about it. So we might as well give up on the Epstein finding out anything on that. But it does hurt my heart to think that they're doing things to poor little children. And just think, we have kids come up missing here, but think about the other countries. They can get away with it a lot easier. And they just take droves of them and do things to them. So I just don't even want to think about that. So I'm going to quit talking about it. But that's what type of world we're in. That's what the things behind the scenes are way worse than these little shiny things they got us looking at all the time, right? Look over here, the government's closed down. They're fighting over that. Oh, there was a school shooting over here. Charlie Kirk got hit. These different things. That's so you're not looking towards whatever they're doing, right? We know that. We're smart enough to know that. And all the things that we called, that they called conspiracy theories you were crazy about 10 years ago, now are all conspiracies, not theories. And you're not crazy for thinking it no more, and everybody's talking about it. It blows my mind. Blows my mind, But you was crazy for talking about it 10 years ago. Oh, you're one of those, right? But I don't like to get on that too much, but because the rapture is not a theory. The rapture is happening, guys. I'm just talking about things and reasons of why we see where we're at. The world's is pretty bad. It gets any worse than this, and we're definitely in tribulation. We're at the marks of, it's so bad that if we don't get out of here soon, we're going to be in some real bad stuff. And, I don't know about you guys, but as far as that thing that we had to get, the thing in our arm, and I never even caught the cold. I never got it once. I never got that thing, and I never had it once. I didn't wear the mask. I know people that got it, but they also got this thing too, And I was around people, never got it. My wife never got it. So, no, never been, and I've been like around people that I was waiting to get it because I was around them, touched things they did, in the same area for a good while, and waited a week, nothing happened. Quarantine, nothing happened. Never had any issues. So I personally, this is the way I look at that, guys. Does anybody ever look at 2020 as being when time sped up? I felt time speed up in 2020. Not only that, what was going on in 2020, I never got what it was. Brian, you say you never got it. Anybody else in here? Did you get it? Did anybody else get it or have it at some point? Well, I did notice this. Okay, so I actually had two family members die during that time. One of them was young. He was way heavier than he should have been. Okay, but when they took him to the hospital, they weren't allowed to go in, and they just had to hear about that he passed away. He went to the other place, right? And they just had to hear about it, and just have like this alternate funeral arrangement for him because they never got to see him. But once you got to go into the hospital with your family, suddenly they stopped going to that other place. Now, would it be too big to say that all these surgeons and doctors and stuff were involved? Was money more important than they actually try to help you? Or will they go with the status quo to make money? But the moment you could go in the hospital with them, the moment everybody quit passing away. Or going on. That's not a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. That's not even a theory. That really happened. And that was in 2020. And 2020 felt like 10, 15, 20 years all in 1 year. So many things happened from so many different areas. It was just look over here, look over there, because something's going on everywhere, you know. And and then whatever the last 4 years was, that was I just open season. I don't know I don't even know what to say about that Biden situation, you know. But let terrorist cells all in our country, and it's all set up for something. Something big is about to happen. Flip this. Every life as we know it will change in a 24-hour period. Is the way I understand it. Life as we know it will change within a 24-hour period. I would imagine that's when we're raptured, and all the things begin to happen. Okay? The moment we're raptured, a big earthquake happens. Okay? One that's felt by the whole world. So it's going to be a huge event. Okay? And I look at this 3-eye atlas thing in several different ways. Try to repent. Is the timing perfect for about the time that, say, the September is really November feast times? Is this thing could that be Jesus on his way? You know what I'm saying? I think of all kinds of things, I keep an open mind about it all. Is that his timing? We actually see him coming fast as the speed of light. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things, but Brandon Biggs happens to say that he believes that it's or that he's seen that it's going to be some type of demonic alien being, and that being 3-eye atlas, and that's just it. Is it going to get its closest to the earthbound and then slow down and hang out? That's the way he seems to think. Fellow transgressors, if you're a transgressor, make sure you say it in the comments, because we know what that means. We don't have to say the other thing that gets you thrown out of church. But Melissa, I know exactly, and it's a good feeling, isn't it? Now, that's a great feeling to know that you took care of that here on earth. You're not being raised to not be a sinner. You're being raised to be incorruptible. Well, yeah, and then what's up with NASA cutting its feed when it got closest to where we could see it? I mean, even Stephon Burns said something about that. NASA cut the feed. What'd they cut the feed for? So why are we having to get pictures of it from, say, Japan and or China, their picture of what it looked like? Why is NASA incapable of taking a picture? Yeah, and if they can't get the picture, why can't Tesla or whatever SpaceX? Why hasn't somebody got us a nice, good, clear picture of what this thing is? Because what I seen is kind of stretched out. It could be a ship. It looks like a bunch of things traveling together. If it's the real picture, But yeah, NASA cut the feed, and Stephon Burns said they've been cutting the feed, and he doesn't know why they're doing it, but he pointed it out. I don't know. Does anybody else watch Stephon Burns? He's gotten quite a following. We followed him before he had all the people he has now. Now I looked last time I looked, one of his videos got watched like 57,000 times. I was like, or no, 577,000 times. I'm like, man, I get. We have been growing. I've been noticing this channel grow as far as like how many people actually watch the videos throughout the day. When a good video hits or they're ready for one, I don't know what it is about it, whether it's the thumbnail or what I start out talking about. Some of them do better than others, but we're having like keeping it between maybe an 1,100, 1,600 people watching a video at a time, and it's growing as our subscribers are growing. And luckily, our subscribers have been growing, and I look at it like this: it's either let's get raptured or subscribe to the channel and let's talk about it, right? Until it's time. But I hope you guys share this channel, and I don't ask for anything in return. Um, uh, you know, I've got things out there up there, but it's just on a total, like if somebody felt like it basis. It has nothing to do with anything. You'll never hear me ask for a dime or any help or anything like that. I'm just here doing what God wants me to do, and if God wants to help me out, God will. All I got to do is ask Him for it, right? And but I'm hearing these trying times, and I'm wondering if anybody else is going through them. Does anybody else seem to like life to be? I felt like I was watching other people sell their cars and how seeing this online like Tillahunt and different ones are like saying on the 23rd they got rid. I was like, why are you doing that? Why do you care about what happens to your stuff after you're gone? But because I guess I don't have enough to worry about. You know what I mean? But uh, I'm not worried about possessions when I'm gone. And I don't think anybody else is going to be doing anything but pillaging at that point anyway, because the whole earth is going to flip upside down in a day. You know, life as they know it will be different. I feel the love of Jesus. I do feel the love of Jesus, and I feel like I'm doing His work. That what He's put me here to do. Thing is the way my life's falling out. It's like, am I getting ready for a big? It's like I'm getting ready for a big change. Why? But I would not. I would rather not worry about things while this change is going on, and I'm having all these extra worries to go along with it. It's like I'm supposed to be gone by now. That's how I feel. It's like I'm supposed to already be gone. I don't have to deal with this stuff. I'm here to deal with it, and I'm not doing very well with it. How about you guys? I see a lot of people ask me for prayers and different things. They got things going on with their families. But I don't know. It just seemed like everything was going pretty good for me, and then it just kind of started falling apart around the time that I'm expecting the Exodus, Rapture, what have you. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it ain't going to matter here soon. And I keep being here, and the things are growing. You know what I mean? Like, bills don't go away, they just become bigger. You know what I mean? I know the Lord's got this, and I need prayer. I need prayer. I wish you guys would please pray for me. Please, I mean, at least pray for me that my finances straighten out while I'm waiting on this rapture, you know? I don't want to be waiting on the rapture and looking for a place to live. Uh, I want to go up next, not somewhere else. Up. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really, the thing is I can pray. I'm a one person. I can pray for you guys individually. Every time you ask me to pray, I start praying immediately in my head right then. And I may not say a prayer out loud, sometimes I do. But if I can get you guys to pray, I got 2,000 and something. That's a strong prayer community. I feel like I'd receive something out of that. You know what I mean? But even just the 14 that are in here right now, if each one of you prayed for me, it would really be strong. I'd really enjoy it. Thank you so much. I can be strategic with it. Uh, my wife has cysts on her ovaries again, and last time it was cancerous. But we haven't worried about that because, we know the rapture's coming, what have you. And I'm not going to get my other knee surgery because I see no need in it at this point. I'm walking, you know. So we're gonna stick with this. But I just pray that my finances straighten out just a little bit so I can focus on doing God's work instead of having to focus on a little electric bill and a little land note. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want things to just pan out. And there's no jobs in this area. If they are, you got to drive 30 minutes away. I got a truck. I drive 30 minutes away. I just drove $30 worth of gas out. So it's like, now there's no winning for me other than to try to do something from here. And I'm doing what I can. And it hadn't been working out real good lately. So that's all I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm expecting a rapture any day, and I won't have to worry about this anymore. But they don't stop them from calling, And I'm not real worried about the other bills, as much other than this land thing, because this guy, he was nice till he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He was nice about it till he wasn't, and then he's not getting nicer. The messages are getting worse and worse, But I don't know what to tell him. I'm doing all I can, and I just can't seem to get it. But the Lord could drop it in my lap tomorrow. He always has taken care of me, and he always will. But so don't worry. I'm not trying to lay word. Just showing you guys. I'm just a normal guy with problems, and waiting on the rapture with you, and trying to keep the team excited. Cause we're team Jesus, team Rapture, and I'm gonna start that every video off now with, if you don't want to talk about the rapture, or you don't like anything about it, there's an exit right now. I'm gonna start every video off like that because we don't care to read their comments, right? You don't believe in the rapture, there's no reason to even stick around and put a comment in there. So I'll start it off like that to go ahead and stop it, Say, don't do that. Well, I do that, but then throughout the video, I end up saying, if you've stuck around, okay, if you stuck around even through the rapture talk and you don't know Jesus, I usually offer him a chance to get Jesus Christ in my video or every other video. So I usually do that, you know. But I found it to be a little bit more, you don't get the bad comments. If you start your video out saying, we're going to be talking about the rapture in here. So if you don't like talking about the rapture, you might not want to stick around in here. That's why I do that. Yeah, hold the line. That's what we do, folks. Hold the line. Stand firm, right? We know what stand firm means. Haven't you had experiences? Dreams, visions, visitations? Some of you have. Some of you haven't. Some of you listen to other people, like Mickey. Mickey's real interested in Elijah. That Elijah story really grabbed him, okay? That became a part of his story. He will never forget that, and he'll always feel the need to tell that story. It became a part of his story. I love that, okay? So even if he hadn't had one yet, that story grabbed him enough that he's going around telling it to people. You know, he's excited about it. That excites me that the story goes on, becomes a part of someone else's story. So if you've heard a dream or a vision and it grabbed you and you haven't had one of your own yet, you still will, and we'll pray for you to get them, okay? But that's what these others are. It's neon lights for you. Hey, the pouring of Joel, the outpouring of Joel is happening right now. Mickey, you still with me? Mickey, where'd you go, buddy? Let me see if I can get you, if I can summon you here. I don't know the way to do it, but I'd like to say something to you anyway. But yeah, Guy Brian, yeah, I don't have dreams. Like I've had I would say I probably had about 4 vivid dreams in my whole life. They've been since I was an adult. All right, Mickey. Yeah, so that's I was just talking about you and saying, hey, look, that Elijah story grabbed you so much that ended up becoming a part of your story. You see what I'm saying? You're at a birthday dinner? I got you, bud. I understand. But yeah, that's who I was talking about. He was grabbed so much by the Elijah story that he's been telling it a lot. It became a part of his story. He'll continue to tell that from now on, or at least until the rapture happens. You know what I mean? Which we hope it happens any second. I'd like to be sitting here on this and just blip off the screen, and all you see is his hat drop, right? Shirt drop. I want you to see it. I want yours to do it too. Leah, there she is. Glad she's here. I'm getting excited. I'm about getting ready to go outside and see if I can see these aurora lights in the sky. I slept through it last night. I fell asleep before 11:11, guys. I know, don't slap me, but I did it. I was completely gone. As soon as I ate, I fell asleep in the chair. My wife was coming in trying to show me aurora pictures, and I wasn't interested till this morning. But guys, I've been on here almost 2 hours, and me and my wife, we were going to go hang out and watch the aurora lights. But I just wanted to pop up and have a good time with you guys real quick, and see what y'all thought about the things Joseph Allen's been saying. And so we never really did talk about it. I talked about it, but I want to hear what you guys think. Like, I'm watching what your messages say. But what do you think about her saying that all the colors will be in the sky, and then that 3 days of darkness comes, and we're having this big aurora, and they're saying that November's the real September, And I don't know. There's so many things. I don't even know where. I just know Jesus hadn't returned yet. And if he's returning on the feast, they must not have happened yet. Anybody else agree with that? If he's returning on the feasts and he's returning in this season, then the feast must not have happened yet. Or he's returning on a day that's not the feast. One or the other. Because I haven't seen him yet. He's returning this season. And if he's doing it, then they must be right. We must be waiting on the feasts, the real feasts. And that's why God doesn't honor their feasts. Bryce Smith, I think now it would build up the earthquake so it could be any day. Jesus will return in the purpose. Yeah, that's another thing that they're saying the earth is getting supercharged, right? So all this activity with the sun throwing out all this stuff at the earth is supercharging the earth. Well, what is the earth getting ready for? One big quake? Well, we know when that big quake happens, the rapture happens. So we're watching all these things build up. You see it, all the side. Look, if you go, okay, you can't set dates. Okay, so we can't set dates. That's against the rules, right? Can't set dates, can't say nothing like that. Don't mention a day. But he said, look for the signs, okay? And I mean, the signs are freaking everywhere. The earth is getting supercharged. The sun's acting like it's going to explode. Look, okay, so when that was said, it was said in a way was, what's it to you if I let him live? What's it to you? It wasn't say, he didn't say, I'm letting, that's just taking if you take it that way. A lot of people believe Judas didn't die. A lot of people believe Cain never died, okay? There's different reasons why. I've heard all these theories, but I'm here to tell you that the Bible says, and you can look it in Zechariah and Haggai, that the two witnesses will be Joshua and Zerubbabel. You have to forgive me. I've been working in the yard today and hammering on some things, so my fingernail has something under it. But yeah, it's because I've been messing with the chickens and having to do stuff in the chicken coop. But, we have 9 chickens, 2 roosters, and 7 hens. I decided to get chickens when the eggs went up real high. I got chickens, and now I pay a lot for some chickens to get some eggs, and eggs are cheap again. That's the way my life goes. Yeah, right now we're getting, look, we haven't even got the worst of it yet. Like, tonight's supposed to be better aurora lights than last night. And if you go to my post, you can look at what my wife took pictures of. You can see the green and the pink. If you go to the post there, I don't know how to do that, but if you know how to get to the post and look at my pictures, you'll see them. But guys, we are in some amazing time. Make sure if you're in here, like it. There's 18 people in here and I got 16 likes. Give me that like, guys. I love all of you. I'm here with you. I'm here. We're going to stick this out, right? We're going to stick this rapture thing out. Listen, when I try hard to get them out early in the morning, but you wouldn't know how many times I start. There'll be 10. There was probably 10 videos I had of me this morning saying, good morning, family. It's November 12th, blah, 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 blah. A big truck passed by and I don't even know what I'm saying. Had to start all over. I need to learn how to edit. So I don't have to do all this redos. I can just cut and splice in and be done with it, right? Isn't that how that works? I need something easy. I need one for dummies. They're healthier. They look better. I'm getting them Eggland's best looking eggs. All my eggs are brown, you know. Uh, but and feed. I would say they go through a bag of feed about every, we'll say, 2 months. I'm talking about I buy 2 bags of feed, the corn and then the pellets. So it's 100 pounds. It takes them about 2 months to eat it, and we're not like we probably don't do it right. It would last longer than that. However, it's my first chickens. Okay, I never had chickens before. I've been around chickens. I just hadn't had my own chickens, And there is a certain bit of satisfaction to eating your own eggs. However, when I did it, I went to buy 2 cartons of eggs and it costed me $18. And I said, never again. Now, I don't know I'm coming out any better. I think I am, but I think these eggs are more healthy for me. Right? A little healthier. They look a little different when you crack them open. They got more color to them. Back on the Rapture. Sorry, guys. I'm getting sidetracked. Really, honestly, I'm gonna say the last few words, and then I'm gonna get off here. But I want I wanted to get this out. There's something to these lights and this 3 days of darkness and I'm only saying that because she said something about the colors and the sky that they would be real colorful. And here it is. Now we've got these aurora lights. They're seeing down in Mexico. Okay. So it kind of makes me think about what she said. Then Joseph Allen wakes up a week and a half ago talking about us getting a coronal mass ejection. He thought it would happen within like hours, but I mean, I guess it did. And about a week later, ever how many hours that is, week and a half later, we get that coronal mass ejection, which gives us the colorful thing that Sister Luingi's talking about, and Luigi, or however you say her name. And then, what was it? Joseph Allen was talking about 13th and 14th. He's talking about the 13th and 14th. Right around then, we get what he was talking about a week and a half ago, the solar uh, blast, right? And we don't know that that's the last one, but it's a pretty big one, okay? And then, so it's like two of his things tied in all together at once. A dream he had a week ago, and then a dream he just had. To go with what Sister Luingli said back, I don't know about the third time she was on the Scent Twins, I think. So you guys see what I'm saying? Junior, you're absolutely 100% wrong, bro. So you can go tell that somewhere else. I know there's a pre-trib, okay? Now, whether there's a post-trib or a mid-trib, that's upon the reader. But you can get out of here with the no pre-trib stuff. We don't even want to hear it here, really. Yeah, I want to teach y'all something about. Do you want to hear right before okay, this is a good one before I get off here. Okay, so Revelations 20, this is how it goes. I've got a Bible in here somewhere if I can find it, but I can just say it. I saw an angel come down out of heaven holding a great chain. And he wrapped that serpent, of which we call the devil or Satan. Or wrapped that serpent, so that serpent, of which we call the devil or Satan, that ancient dragon, and locks him in the abyss. I'm telling you, that abyss is out of your mind. No longer does Satan exist because he's no longer in your mind. Lucifer is a real entity locked down, and Satan is in your mind. Once he's out of your mind, you no longer talk to nobody else in here. You only talk to one. That is God. Okay? And I can tie that in with Job. Okay? I'll show you that in just a second. But then it says, after that, it says, then the 1,000 years begins. And then it says, I saw those who had been given the authority to judge and those who had become saints. It talks about the time shortly after. But then it always says this one thing. I want y'all to notice this. It never says that Satan will be loosed at the end of 1,000 years. It says when the 1,000 years is completed, or the 1,000 years is fulfilled, or the 1,000 years has ended. It never says at the end of 1,000 years. So Satan's not going to be loosed. It's not this cruel joke that 1,000 years is going to go by, and then after that 1,000 years, Satan's going to be loosed again. No, what that 1,000 years is talking about is the rapture. What it's saying is when the 1,000 years began, whichever time it already began, the 1,000 years, that's the rapture, the people that are getting in the rapture. And when the rapture is fulfilled, the 1,000 years is fulfilled, the door closes, Satan is loosed on the people. That's about to happen now. You understand? It's not talking about at the end of 1,000 years. It's talking about when the 1,000 years is fulfilled. That means the people getting in the 1,000 years, the rapture. It's in Revelations 20. I promise you it's in 11 Revelations 20. Does anybody else understand what I'm saying? Give me some hearts, some yeses. I want to see some. If you don't, I'll repeat it. Revelations 20, when it says the 1,000 years, it's talking about the rapture. When the rapture time period begins, when the people start get like right now, we're waiting on the last of them to get on the ark, right? And then when it's fulfilled, the ark door closes. Then it's fulfilled. The 1,000 years is fulfilled. So when you read that from now on, when people talk about the rapture's not in, I can find it for you right there in Revelations 20. You'll call it they'll call it the 1,000 years, and I'll say, well, when does it end? At the end of 1,000 years is Satan released? Oh, it doesn't say that. It says when it's fulfilled, when it's completed. Some Bibles say the old way of saying it was as it had ended, not at the end of it. Whoever's in here saying that, you got people that just pop in, I catch them. They just try to say things I'm going to go ahead and say it because I'm one of those, they just try to piss the whole rapture community off by saying they're different things. And it's just to start stuff. They're not in here to really say anything. Okay. Um, so, but if you're talking about Second Thessalonians, which I know you are, and you're saying that the rapture can't happen till the son of perdition or the man of lawlessness is revealed, is that what you're getting at, Junior? I'll go ahead and fix that for you, buddy. Is that what you're talking about? First, Paul preaches, first the dead will rise, then the living, and they'll be called up together. And then in Second Thessalonians, concerning the day of the Lord, because at that day they had thought the rapture had already happened because his sister come up missing or so-and-so come up missing. Did the rapture already happen? And so he said, no. He's talking about back then. And he says that first, what is it? The falling away and the man of lawlessness being revealed. Well, I'll tell you, the man of lawlessness has already been revealed. So you know where we're at, right? You've got it all figured out. You know what do you know what trumpet we're in? You've got it all figured out. What trumpet are in, Junior? Junior, what trumpet has already happened? Has any trumpets already happened, Junior? Church of Philadelphia, he who endures to the end will. What? What does it say in that Church of Philadelphia? Read it for me. What does it say at the bottom of there? He who endures, what do they do? I'm asking you what trumpet we're in. You say you know. If it's at the last trumpet and it's about to happen pre-trib, then we so a lot of other things are about to happen, right? I'm not even going to go there. I heard a lot of trumpets. We won't be confused anymore. We'll just take care of this. All right. Have a great day. Uh, I'm not confused anymore. I'm not going to answer stupid questions throughout this. I'm just not. As I was telling you, some people are designed to cause problems. But anyway, I was about to get off here anyway, guys. I just wanted to explain that Revelations to you. Um, I was, he said, no trumpets. Our that gun president's name is Trump. That's got to be one of the trumpets, right? It's just craziness. But love you guys. Had a great night. I enjoy you. Hey, Leah, I enjoy. I just like I say, if they get on here and they start talking bad about God, and they're just trying to make all of us mad, and there's no sense in having them on here, right? I love you too, Brian. Love you, Mickey. Love you guys. Love you, Melissa. Uh, Whoever else is on here, in and out. I just came on here just to kind of surprise everybody. Bryce, love you too, brother. Glad you're on here. Your life isn't alive, but I'm glad you're on here. And everybody, I hope your finances, let's pray real quick. I pray over your finances and my finances. Please, Lord, take care of all of us, Lord, health wise, finance wise, until you get here, Lord. And the faster you get here, the less we have to worry about that. But, Lord, if you're going to take even another week, please help us with all these things. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you guys. Have a great night, okay? Thank you for coming. Bye. I'll see y'all tomorrow's video, okay? Make sure you like it and pass it on so people subscribe. We need as many people on here as possible so we can our family will be big. Bye, guys.